Got some strength in my legs. Oh my God, don't let me become this guy. Maybe after I retire. There used to be a dude in our neighborhood, that's all he did was he'd go walk and he'd just pick up stuff and recycle. Yeah, it's against the law. Fuck the law. Ooh, I'm such a rebel. Video diary of a mad black introvert. How about the inverted, perverted Dr. Midnight? I'm not that dark. The introverted, perverted. Yeah, like I was saying yesterday, I take solace that no matter what color in every alternate universe, I'm an oddball. So you already got one strike against you. Thankfully, right now I'm strange and harmless. Mild curiosity, circus attraction. But exercising is therapy. Space and solitude is therapy. You think of the Native Americans, I think they call this medicine. There's just something about physical exhaustion and sweat and strain and work. Work keeps me sane. I come from a family of workaholics. I had an uncle that worked 12-hour shifts 6 days a week. And even in retirement, he always finds something to do. It's just that he does it less now. now he teaches kids how to swim. That's how he spends his retirement. I remember when I was unemployed and depressed, I didn't do anything for a while. And it just drives you crazy. I had an epiphany that even if if I didn't have to work, I'd still be working. Man, a lot of people out here. It was a hot day. I'd still be working. I'd just be doing something I'd love to do. Every year I'd have a different job. I'd try being an actual cowboy. I'd be a mechanic. I tried being a nurse for a few years. I volunteer with the Boy Scouts, be a tutor, teacher. People ask what stops you from doing that now, and the answer is always the same. It's money. You depend on something for your livelihood, you tend to stick to it. I guess what I'm saying is, I and a lot of other Americans I talk to, we have this sad experience where we work out of fear. That's not a good reason to have people working for you. Here we go. Hey. She was tense, the dog, he was okay. He looked tired more than anything. Working out of fear. That's all my working career has ever been. No, I take that back. There were a couple of jobs where I had absolutely no fear. Three jobs I can think of right off the bat that I had no fear, and those are probably my favorite jobs. Working at UPS the second time around, until I got hurt. Working at Domino's for minimum wage. The reason that job was so fun because it was a crap job. I knew it was a crap job. They knew it was a crap job. They just needed a body. And it was just something to do. I needed a little money while I was going to school to sustain me. And I had a car. I was just willing to take anything, and I took anything. I had a friend that worked at Domino's. He says, hey, you can work with me on the weekends. I was like, cool. And I worked the weekend shift. I'm always going to work on weekends. Even if I'm out hanging out with folks, it's still gonna be work. It's gonna be me doing something for, maybe for profit or maybe for another goal. You know, adopting this cat colony, all of a sudden I'm juiced up again, because even though I'm tired of messing with my schedule, it's just something different to do. I'd do construction for a while. I'd love to rehab a house, man. I know everyone says, oh, I hate them. I do hate messing with insulation. Getting fiberglass all up in your pores and scratching like crazy, but I did that for a while. My dad kind of taught me how to do body work, but I'd like to learn how to do it the right way. My dad cut corners, man. Sometimes he didn't have the right equipment. I'm not saying like he short-sheeted a customer. I'm just saying that the way he did things caused him to do more work than that was necessary. I got to a point where I was working at a shop, I would segregate the parts that came off of the bolts and everything that would come off of certain parts. I'd have them in separate cups, or I'd have them in separate trays, so I knew where everything was when I had to put it back together. And then one day he went in there and messed up my cups, and I said, okay. He said, "Now I like the little system you got there." He said, "It made it a whole lot easier to put it back together." I said, "That was great until you took everything and poured it into one cup." I said, "Good luck." He said, "Yeah, it took a little bit longer after that." The cool thing about working with collision repair is you feel like a detective. Like you're looking at a crime scene, you're sitting there collecting all the little bits of evidence, cataloging. Hell, I probably worked for the police for a year. In my heart, I always wanted to, when I was in Boy Scouts, it was kind of fun, and I always thought about maybe, and my dad always talked about it, and thought about joining the military. Then I went blind, and that pretty much killed that goal. Why the military? Because they sell it so well. You get to wear the cool uniforms, and yeah, I kind of dig that corny stuff, man. I like the uniforms. The guns, you know, that'd be kind of a cool thing to, I guess, shoot some guns. Everybody wants to be a hero, of course. Run in the line of fire and pull out soldiers and say, "Ooh, kill the bad guys." But then I start reading about what other people, and I start talking to veterans, and the vibe I get from veterans is they like some aspects of it, but they're glad it's over. They make it almost, veterans unfortunately make service to the country sound like a prison sentence. I did my time, man. All the Navy guys say the same damn thing. Never again volunteer yourself. I was like, okay. I was like, I get it. It sucks being on a boat for 6 months out of a year. In stereo! There you go. Bark together. Get in the sync. I hate it when dogs are off key. What's my experience? Okay. Air Force guys make it sound like just another job. Navy guys make it sound like it was a jail sentence. Marines are pricks, no matter what. It's just, you know, every Marine I ever met was a prick. They're still kind of cool guys to talk to, but I don't think the Marines had anything to do with that. I think it's just the Marines take a certain kind of guy and they love pricks. Army guys was the most down to earth. The Army guy is the combination of a Marine and a Navy guy. Maybe even a little bit of an Air Force guy. He's just doing a job. He's not trying to be gung-ho about it. Just get it done. I guess what I'm saying is the Army seems to be the most practical out of the entire group. I probably would have joined the Army or the Air Force. But if I could have, I'd have done that for about 5 years. I'd have done my time, my commitment. I'd have been done. I don't think I could have made a career out of it. Even if I decided to be an officer. Just the idea that I get out of college. I go through the training. And then I'm supposed to have a higher rank than a dude that's been in there for 20 years and seen combat. That never quite washed well with me. But yeah, that happens in real life too. Case in point, hey, he's back. What's up, big fella? That's right, show me that love. You ain't bit me yet, so you must be right. He don't bite. That's a big dog. Looks like a girl, though. I thought I saw boobs. Like I said, all dogs are nice until they bite you. But yeah, I was saying about that whole degree thing. Case in point, 20 years ago, if I got my degree right off the bat, they'd have put me to work and paid me more than a guy who had been in IT for 10, 20 years. spend more time learning from the guys who were already there than I ever did going to the college. Like, I took a class in college. It was called automata theory. I think I said this before. And the problem with automata theory is it's supposed to teach you all about verbiage and software design. But all it really does is teach you this really abstract, useless stuff. And automata theory would have worked if they had wrapped it in something practical. Let's say, if it would have been application of automata theory, I could use it in the industry. But that's not what it was. It was just plain old abstract, useless as hell automata theory. Every day I think about the pumping limit. I have no practical use for it. I don't even understand it quite. Something about a sequence of something in a grammar, and no matter how you add to it, there's always the base. And I guess it has something to do with programming loops and pattern recognition. But once again, there was no there was no application of automata theory. It was just theory. Useless as hell. Took one called Operating System Concepts. That was actually a pretty interesting class. Learning about semaphores. All the semaphore is you have multiple threads running, but you only have one resource that they can tap into. You want to make sure that you're not doing, in other words, you're making sure that you're not doing the same work twice. So one of the threads will lock down something, and then the other threads can't access it until a certain time. It's just an important concept for multi-threading. Probably got that wrong, but that's the way I understood it. We'd write these elaborate programs, banking programs, waiter programs, some kind of service-related program that shows that while there were jobs in the queue, your program would grab one, and then one thing would start doing one thing to it, and another thing would process another thing. I remember that stuff, but I can't bring it up in an interview. Yeah, I know all about semaphores. Like, okay. So tell me, in an object-oriented database program, blah blah blah, how do you do this between that, and how do you write a script that will convert this to that? I don't know. I didn't take a class on that. Oh, that's too bad, 'cause that's all we're looking for is a guy who can do that. You know anything about SQL? No, I don't. I know it's some kind of database language. I know there's an open source version of it. I know Oracle has some kind of patent on certain parts of it. That's all I know. I know about the I know about key fields, I think that's what they call it. SQL double cross. I know about you see, I didn't learn that in school. I had to sit there and pick up a little intro thing, and I read a book about how to do SQL and databases. You take a class in software engineering, I did virtually no coding in that class. It was all about the business end of it, managing projects. And I realized that I'm pretty much an expert in project management. Ironically, I learned how to do project management just by myself when I was unemployed. You get a series of tasks, you try to juggle things. Even when you're unemployed, there's still work to do. Keeping appointments, filling out that progress paperwork on your unemployment thing, mapping routes, planning meals. Unexpected changes happen, or you get a giant task, unexpected changes happen, so you have to sit there and readjust the schedule. People would talk about agile programming like it was going to be the savior of the software industry, and all it meant was can we get at least just one person to just do nothing but coding? And it's a couple of coders and a manager. Small units or squads that just get the work done piece by piece. Your entire project is separated into a series of post-it notes. And all you learn is what you kind of know, and that is the more big and complex something gets, the slower and more inefficient it becomes to work. But you see, nature teaches us all these things. The smaller something is, the more efficient it seems to get. My body does one task. I mean, my body can do amazing tasks. My brain can do amazing things. But it's not just one thing. It's a trillion little simple machines that make me one big complex machine. That's how you get around projects. Everybody sees the whole thing and say it can't be done. I see the small pieces, and I'm trying to figure out why they can't see why this can be done. I look at the same thing with government organizations. I look at the same thing with finances. Everybody talks about cities that are dying. Well, cities need to die. Every once in a while, you have to reboot something. And that's from years of programming experience or IT experience too. Every once in a while your system just gets so big and bloated full of patches that you have to say what's important, clear it out, and then start over again. And America doesn't seem to have that system, or it has things that prevent that system from trying to work. I was like, someday the city of Detroit will be the city of Detroit again. But it's got to start out as the town of Detroit. It needs a reboot. It needs a reinstall. It needs a reconfiguration. It doesn't need the same old operating system, it needs an upgrade. America needs an upgrade. 200 years ago, a bunch of white guys were trying to figure out how they can hold on to slavery and at the same time be free from monarchs. You know, that chapter's over. Or at least it should have been. Now we just had to figure out how are we going to treat each other and how are we going to get better. And there seems to be a concerted effort to block that. I don't understand that. It's like, no, we don't want to get better. We want things to stay the same. I was like, okay. Not okay, you know? A lot of assholes out here. I thought if I started later, there'd be nobody out here. Something's going on, man. Look at my video 2 weeks ago. These people weren't here. America has to figure out. America's got to renew its vows. It's got to do surgery to start cutting out some things that are some bad diseased organs. America's a lot of things. And all I ever heard when I was a kid, whenever I was bragging, was America was supposed to be flexible. The Constitution was a flexible document. And yet here we are 17 years after doing nothing government. And you wonder how much of that is true. Unless it involves terrorism. Then you abandon your rights out of fear. Home of the incarcerated and scared. But that's how propaganda works. You tell the rest of the world this is what you are. Reality is usually the opposite. You see the letters People's Republic in the title of the country, it's anything but. We're called the United States of America, but we're anything but united. There are red states and blue states. Before that, there were free states and slave states. So when you say land of the free, home of the brave in a song, you mean the opposite. The song tells a story about a fort that was bombed into oblivion and never fell. But the reality was the United States took a shellacking in the War of 1812 and was damned lucky that a guy like Napoleon was causing all the trouble he was causing. Because the British were just able to focus on America. They'd have got it, carved it up, and turned it into providences again. So you're singing a song about brave soldiers, about a fort that never fell in a war that you lost. The United States lost the War of 1812. The goal of the War of 1812 was to take over parts of Canada. The reality was the United States was lucky to hold on what it held on to. British soldiers invaded the capital and burned everything down to the ground. And then after the war, you get it all back. Like, everybody talks about Andrew Jackson and the Battle of New Orleans. The battle occurs 2 weeks after the war ended. It's the equivalent of getting a garbage touchdown late in the game. Remember that time America got shellacked 52-0 in that football game? 52-7? All I remember is they got that last minute touchdown. It was sweet. You know what I love about America, or what I used to love about America? This was the country of second chances. And to some immigrants, it still is. That has always been the beauty of America. You fucked up somewhere? That's cool. Go to America. You can become somebody new. Not everyone can do this. But just the fact that a few have done this motivates people to believe in it. As for the American dream, I have yet to see a sustainable example. Usually, you got nothing, you get something, you get old, then you lose it. Or you have nothing, you struggle just to get a little bit of something, and you still lose it anyway. Then again, like I said before, the opposite is always true. We sell the American dream, we live the American reality. I live every day in fear that at any moment, everything I work hard for can be gone. The only thing that comforts me is thinking that's the nature of life anyway. Like if you're a monk, this country is great. This is a monastic country. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't engage in sex, don't make waves, don't have attachments. If you're a silent monk, don't talk. About silence is preferred. In this country, we want you to know how to fight back. We just don't want you to fight back. It's a weird thing that only monks understand. You have the ability to crush or destroy someone. You choose not to. Like I said, assholes. Tear up the field, leave trash everywhere. People are trying to exercise normally, get in the way. And then that mess you saw there. Maybe they're just teenagers, I don't know. But even still, I need to stop. Lower expectations of teenagers. Once again, not living the monastic lifestyle. Discipline. live like a monk. America loves me. Unless one day I pour gasoline over my head and set myself on fire in a public place. Then suddenly there's some soul searching going on. And eventually the way you get over it, you convince yourself there was something wrong with the guy who set himself on fire. That's what we do with shootings. We pretend there's not a bigger problem going on, it's just one nut with a gun. Like I said, know how to fight, but don't fight. Know how to destroy and kill, but don't kill, don't destroy. It's a weird dichotomy. Some military guys know it too. Dynamic thing. You chose this today, but tomorrow you can choose something else. What makes it static is your stubbornness, or I guess in some cases your fear. Fear paralyzes. Fear causes insanity. And there are times when this country tries to drive me insane. It wasn't election night that did that. It was something that happened far earlier than that. I knew Trump was going to win. I laughed the whole time on election night because I saw a bunch of people who were in denial get schooled. They thought they could just will America into what they wanted it to be instead of they honestly thought they were influencing people to think the way they did. And it'll be one of those contested things. Bush lost the popular vote. Trump lost the popular vote. But we still have the Electoral College. Nothing's going to change until a bunch of congressmen die of old age or get voted out. America's constipated. Instead of doing something, it's like the episode of King of the Hill. Hank's constipated, but he won't do anything about it. He just keeps eating red meat. It's a perfect allegory for America. They keep chomping away at red meat while their colon's blocked full of shit they can't digest or get rid of. Man, I feel great. Might have been football players. Yeah, in fact, that's what I'm thinking. This must be two-a-days. Thomas Jefferson, I think, maybe had one. This school, I think, it's had one winning season, and it's 63 years of 64 years of existence. This school that you see before you was all white. The name of the team, the mascot, was the Rebels. They had Confederate flags. They had a guy going around in the old Confederate gray. They were gung ho. This is in the middle of the Dallas. This is in the 1950s. They didn't change the name of the team until about 1974. Then they became the Patriots. I had to learn a lot about Thomas Jefferson when I was here. One thing they never talked about is his special interest. It's black children. He stands on slavery. Knew all about the Declaration of Independence. I think there's a copy of it still in the narthex. We used to talk about patriot pride. And we engaged in a lot of jingoism. Our fight song was "It's a Grand Old Flag." Didn't hear it much because we didn't score much in football games. Go out on the field, you hear it. Dun, 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 dun. Every single time, man. Pep rallies, start of the game. We won at the end of the game. Every time we scored. I'd play semi-pro football if I didn't have to work. I'd do that for a while. I'd play softball. I'd play a lot of sports, man. learn how to properly do the power clean. I started lifting heavy again. I mean, I'm lifting heavy now, but I mean, every week. I don't do it now because I can't eat consistently enough, and work drains me. That was one of the cool things about unemployment, is I got really really strong. Like I said, you get depressed, you get suicidal, you feel useless, and then you just have this moment where you start finding something to do with yourself. And that's how I kind of broke it. Exercising, reading, collecting, cataloging, running errands for other people, hanging out with other people, school activities. Took up a martial arts here or there. But I never could do any of these things consistently, because when you're looking for work, or you're getting work, you have to keep changing your schedule. My life was chaotic, so it's always helpful to have at least one thing that's a routine. For me, it was exercise. Get up early in the morning, go out in the evening. An hour a day to get it done. I don't know, man. I keep looking at all the stuff they're talking about, basic income, and all I can think is, maybe that's what we can do. Instead of giving it to everybody, give it to people who seem to meet that certain criteria. They're smart, they're capable, they're responsible, and then say, look, here, you can have the money. Now go rebuild this country. And you take that money and you just volunteer all day, every day. Find something to do. Find something to fix America. That's your job. I'd love that job. I'd kill for that job. But nobody wants to fix America, because you can't make money off of a country that's fixed. You can make a lot of money off of the broken stuff. The more fucked up, the more profitable. I can't make a living fixing America. Let me rephrase that. I haven't figured out a way to do it yet. I'm not asking for millions of dollars. You know what I want? I want a condo, 2 bedrooms, you know, a guest bedroom just in case. I want to own it. I don't want to keep paying rent for the rest of my life. Like if I have a car that's in good upkeep, like what I got now, I'm not paying a car note. Affordable utilities. And it'd be nice to get all this working 20 hours a week at a job I hate. Instead of 40, 60 hours a week. At a job that sometimes gives me stomach pains. I'll work. I'm gonna be fucking smart about it. I know what it's like to work hard and have nothing to show for it. And that's what's led me to adopt a lazy algorithm at times. I used to be ashamed about being lazy. You know, it's the Lutheran upbringing in me. But laziness has a use. Laziness has a purpose. You're lazy by nature because your body's trying to be energy efficient. Your brain's trying to be energy efficient. That was all I heard when I was studying for my degree. A good programmer is lazy. So I always tell people I do that, but I'm lazy. And they laugh. You ran a marathon, half marathon. Still, I can't even run 1 mile. I'm like, I understand, but I'm still lazy. I do work hard for a lot for some things. But by nature, I tell people, and it's my mantra, I'm a lazy man. I think, but I'm smart about it. I'm a responsible, lazy man. Yes, such creatures exist. Just like responsible stoners. I want to be left the fuck alone, and I want everything to be affordable. That's the America I want. Instead, this is the country of expensive nosy bitches. Turn on the TV in the morning, you'll see what I'm talking about. Can't put that in the national anthem, can we? For the land of the expensive and the home of the nosy bitches. Still, I wonder if we were subjects of England. The black folks still have jazzed up the national anthem. Has anyone ever sung a soulful God Save the Queen? America had lost. Slavery would have been abolished. The United States would have got its independence in probably the 19th century, mid part of it. The British Empire was imploding. It was big and it was powerful. By the time Victoria got it there, it was shrinking. And World War I broke out, and that just killed all the Vicky's reign. All she had to do was sit there and coast. And then toward the end, they just ran out of momentum. You know, Al, he didn't have the stomach for it, man. So, you can't help but study a little bit of British history, especially when all you read is the BBC, watch the BBC. They just talk about it all day long. I'm just like, what the fuck? I didn't even watch the Crown. I was just like, I can't. I wasn't going to watch a show about the reign of a monarch over a crumbling empire. I already saw The Last Emperor. I didn't need to see the white female equivalent. Queen Lizzie, she's the last monarch that will matter. You know, the English Empire kind of reminds me of IBM. I mean, there was a guy who I was looking at something the other day on the internet, and he was talking about how corporations go through stages. One of the last stages before collapse is bureaucracy. And England's already gone through that. The British Empire's already gone through that. America's going through it now. There's a lot of bureaucracy keeping a lot of people from doing great things. I can do this great thing, but what do I get out of it? How do I justify this? That's bureaucracy. You're like a dinosaur. It's a creature with a big brain, with a small brain. Large, small brain creature, too dumb to know it's being eaten alive. Second guessing yourself, yeah, nothing's gonna get done. Wait, we have a form for you to second guess yourself. Fill that out in triplicate. We're not even talking about necessary roadblocks anymore. We're talking about just somebody put it up there. Like I said earlier, someone was trying to fix the problem. Somebody said, hey, you need to do something about your guy. I said, no problem, we'll just toss paper at it, red tape at it. And bam, something that you used to be able to do without permission, you suddenly had to fill out 15 forms to do. If you want to find out how dysfunctional your organization is, Find out what it takes for an officer to get one bullet for his gun if he had to do it by himself. Start becoming like Russia. So much lighter. Must be losing weight. I still can't breathe though. Trump said, "Make America great again." He didn't realize that cost money. We kind of want America to be a third world country anyway. That way, wages go way down, and we become a source of cheap third world labor. It's time for us to start making shirts in sweatshops. Cheap electronics, 14 hours a day, coming out with the disposable workers. And we will. We'll get there eventually. Make America great again. We want that. Great is expensive. Everybody wants to be great, nobody wants to pay for it. Like I said, I'm so whipped. I'm at this point. I'm satisfied with okay. I can't even get okay. Make America okay again. Fuck great. I can't afford great. I can barely afford okay. It can be okay. No, I don't want the extended warranty for okay. It's a scam, man. like me, I oscillate between good and okay. Great is a luxury for me. Great is if I want to treat myself. I wear a good running shoe. The GoPro is a okay camera. It's good. It's good. But it's not great. Great is just something that the great camera's got me jogging and it just looks like I'm floating on a cloud of air. Great means I can record for 8 hours straight on one charge. But a great camera is like $1,000. That's the low end. Because you can be great, but not the greatest. See, Trump didn't say that though. He didn't say make America the greatest again. He said make America great again. So right off the bat, you should have known he wasn't selling you the best package. Because he knows. That man knows he can't sell America as the greatest ever again. His negotiating skills are great, but not the greatest. So therefore he can't deliver the greatest. What am I saying? He won't even deliver great. He'll sell great, and then you get down to the lot and all he's got is okay and below. Every good salesman will tell you they have great, and you like an idiot will go down there to get great, and then he's hoping that you're too lazy, too tired, too frustrated, and will settle for okay. Yeah, that great truck you wanted, we don't have it on the lot, but you need to turn around and walk to your car and go home. If but comes out of his mouth, you need to turn around, get in your car and go home. If he says anything other than we got it here, sign the paperwork, you need to get in your car and go home. Don't let that man offer you great and you drive off that lot with okay. Donald J. Trump is the world's is America's greatest used car salesman. That's not saying much. Because Donald Trump is not the world's greatest used car salesman. So let that sink in. That means this man isn't even allowed to sell new cars. He sells used and he sells lemons. But he's the greatest at it in the United States. People like Donald Trump are the reason why you don't have a problem buying a car pre-owned, but you'd never buy a car used. And the smokescreen is we do this, we do that, we check this, we check that. Not true. They'll do a visual check, Once you drive it off the lot, it's your problem. We tell you we do all this stuff, but since you're not there to actually see it, you don't know. Donald Trump doesn't even try to sell pre-owned cars. He just flat out says, I sell used cars. It's just known he sells used cars. So what is America? America is a 1988 Camaro IROC. Is it IROC or Z-Rock? Great car in its day. Not the greatest. No, there were greater. There were Corvettes that were greater. But it was a great car when it got it brand new. It's not great after the rich guy got tired of it and traded it in. And it had a few owners. The United States' last owner was a pimply-faced kid who didn't really know how to change the oil properly on the car. Now it's got a damaged head gasket. Donald Trump got it on his lot. Told everybody it was great. I'm gonna make it great again. This is 10. I can't be sure. I'm gonna do one more. I'm feeling pretty good.